Hi Aries, welcome to your general tarot scope for the last half of November. It's Raina here, and I just wanted to tell you about a few transits that are occurring before I lay out the cards. For instance, Neptune goes direct on the 19th of the month, and this is in your 12th house. Neptune rules the 12th house. It rules the sign of Pisces. So the things we associate with Pisces and the 12th house are featured when we're talking about Neptune. So I feel that, since this is a long-term transit that began several years ago and is not going to be leaving this house until 2025 for you, that this is kind of a real influence of infusion of spiritual insight, and also just maybe even experiences. Maybe you have more vivid dreams. Maybe you feel more intuitive. When Neptune was in retrograde motion, you may have kind of had even some situations where you were able to kind of possibly, I would say even uncover areas that you had buried deep within you, because the 12th house can be the house of the subconscious or the unconscious mind, and sometimes we shove things away. And especially with a sign like Aries, which is very active, there is a tendency to kind of be action-oriented versus necessarily all that reflective. And so you may have gotten more like that, and now, the full force of the Neptune is upon you. Also, you're going to have the Sun go into the 9th house in Sagittarius, and that happens on the 21st of the month. So, you shift from the 8th to the 9th houses. The 9th house is its own is Sagittarius' own house. So it's in its own house. There's also going to be a new moon there on the 29th, and Sagittarius deals with higher education. It deals with foreign travel. It deals with your philosophical framework, or religions and things like that. So for some people, if you, let's say with career, if you have anything going, or you've been trying to get a job in academia or any kind of educational, like a university level, but I also meant with a connection with religion, even like being a yoga teacher or something like that. That might be featured at the time of the new moon. Also, publishing situations, that might be another, possible manifestation of this. And dealing with travel, especially, long distances. So that's pretty interesting and expansive. So cool. Alrighty then. That card I always draw lately. Not always, but a lot. 6 of Cups. Okay, so the overall energy is kind of like a more, just like what I said, that this could be kind of 12th house. This is about rejuvenation, relaxation, solitude. Is it like the Hermit in the Major Arcana? Well, this particular essay shows a Knight. That might even be kind of like an Aries type of person. That's kind of one of the weird depictions in this deck. I use the Morgan Greer deck. I could say exclusively, but I always keep my options open. I'm going to have to be ordering some new decks because I want to experiment. But then I'm always afraid that, I won't have the same results. So I guess I have to just try it anyway. But I do like this deck for the depictions overall and the colors, the Morgan Greer deck. And in the Rider-Waite deck, which is the deck we associate with the Tarot more than any other, you have for the Four of Swords someone who is lying down in a church-like setting with their arms folded across their chest. So there really is this sense of there's some kind of connection with spirit, but unlike the Hermit card, the Hermit card, is holding a lantern that symbolizes to me the inner light or the illumination from within. So it's seeking that inner wisdom. This is more to me just recharging of the batteries. The number 4 represents stability, and the swords represent our thoughts or our communications. So, when you think about stabilizing your thoughts, what do you think about? You think about meditation, right? Oh, stilling your thoughts and stabilizing them so that you can, build a life for yourself instead of being, kind of haywire. And so I see this more of like cessation of thought, or, kind of like stopping that inner chatter and also the externalizing of your energy too. So this is kind of atypical for Aries people. That's why I talked about that Neptunian transit. All right, I shouldn't say Neptunian, Neptune transit. When Neptune goes direct, it's enhancing what it represents. And, of course, being in the 12th house, it's like a doubling down of that mystical, psychic, and imaginative, idealistic energy. The recent past has the King of Wands. Now, for some people, you may have been involved in a very challenging project. This could definitely be you, if it had to be a person. You could have been involved in something that really took a lot out of you, and now maybe you're going to take off the period around, if you're living in the United States, maybe you're going to take off a week during Thanksgiving, which is our holiday in November, in late November. But regardless of where you live, you may have been doing something. The King of Wands is talking about a career, I was going to say a career man, but it doesn't obviously have to be a male figure. It's really representing the male energy. And then with the fire and the wands, you have a double masculine energy with this card. So it's really someone who is, very involved in the world, who's really putting themselves out there. And this is what career is all about. In the astrological chart, it's at the top of the chart. So it's something that is shown to the world. It's not like the private life, it's the public life. So for some of you who, may have your own business or something, maybe you were working a lot and now it's like work hard, play hard. And it's really not playing. You're totally chilling, For a romantic situation, we could talk about the air signs being, something that is happening right now, and in the past, a fire sign, especially if this fire sign is the father of your child. Aries, Leo, Sag in the past. In the present, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Neither of these have to be the sun signs. It's more of the signature of the person. So, maybe right now you're with somebody who's more cerebral, who's, more detached, and you were with more of a passionate person in the past. What's coming in is like a job offer. That's what the Ace of Pentacles relates to, or a loan coming in that you've wanted. It could be like some sort of a windfall. I guess it could even be a lottery win for some people. But, looking at that past position of I wanted to say this too, because if you see this card depicts like that portal. So it's like you stepping through into a new situation. You know, of course, if you have a new job, that's something that is a new chapter of your life. But it could be that you receive money that you were not expecting, because I should have kept this to show you this. See, the money's coming from the clouds. The hand is coming from the clouds. So it could be something that just kind of like, I was going to say pennies from heaven, but it's more than pennies. And this allows you the freedom for your life. Now, if it's not going to manifest in that way, it could be a loan that you've been wanting. With the King of Wands, if you've started a business recently, you know, the King of Wands is somebody who is very, you know, enterprising and is very take charge. You know, they're doing it. It's not like you're a subordinate. So let's put it that way. The king is the top of the food chain. So yeah, I mean that's very good. I feel that's very good for business. It's very interesting though. You have that the Four of Swords in the middle, which just to me suggests, okay, you started it, you got it off the ground, and now you are able to relax. But maybe the King of Wands was you doing that initial legwork, you know, for starting a business. Maybe you haven't really gotten it totally off the ground in some cases, but the Ace of Pentacles puts you over the top, because maybe you get some money. I'm trying to think if there's any action in your 8th house. Well, you did have a full moon on a new moon. Did have a new moon in Scorpio, and I'm recording this on the 9th of November, so that wasn't that long ago. 10 days ago. On the 30th in Scorpio, your 8th house, that can speak of some sort of inheritance or something like that. So, one of the examples would be you get an inheritance and it allows you to invest it in your business, and then that kind of propels you forward. Actually, it's funny. The higher message is the Magician card. So, it's funny. Even if you do get money, there's a manifestation involved. Somehow you were able to make that happen. I'm so grateful that I learned about the law of attraction. Now, what people have to understand is that personally, I don't follow everything to the letter. I grasp concepts, and then I kind of just think about things in that way. I may not do any exercises or anything like that, but at least I kind of resonate with the whole idea of it. And to me, the Magician card is like the law of attraction card, because it's the conscious co-creator. And it speaks about not waiting for other people to give you something, but you take what you have. And they always talk about, that table of the magician. He has these elements, and he takes them to make his magic. I mean, that's what magic is taking what you have. It's not like creating something out of thin air. You're actually taking the things around you. I never resonated with this idea of magic. To me, it seemed like kind of manipulative and also just random. And now I see it's anything but, and it's actually very practical. It's a very practical idea. It's like, just by thinking that you have any control over your life, even if there's something that you want to manifest, and it's not here at the moment, like let's say you wanted to start a new business, you can take steps to make it happen. And you also know that when you need a certain thing to happen, that it shows up in your reality. Like maybe money just appears out of nowhere. And even if you don't have a lot of funds, you can be resourceful, and you can find ways around any kind of challenges. And this is kind of another thing about it, which is totally practical. It's not like something that is lacking substance to talk about, being resourceful. It just simply means that you look for, it's kind of like problem solving and looking, if you don't have one thing, you find a way to, substitute one thing for another in order to achieve what you're trying to achieve. An example of that would be if you don't have, if you can't afford to go to college, you can still, get a library card for free or $2, and you can go and you can educate yourself. And you may find that after you begin that you don't even feel the desire to go to college. But people always, when they get like kind of brainwashed into one way of thinking, they kind of have tunnel vision and they can't think beyond, like, I know it's a cliche, but outside of the box. And this is kind of like the magician is about taking whatever you have available and making use of them in your life to go towards what you want. What crosses you is the Sun card. Now, if there was a person from the past, it might be a Leo, because this card connects to Leo, and we see that there was a fire element in the past position. So that might be somebody who is creating some sort of challenge for you. Another possible interpretation of the Sun card in reverse, or challenging you, is that you don't have it's like something goes your way, but there's still maybe something that is that you need to iron out. Like if let's say you want to launch something, maybe there are a few bugs that need to be ironed out. The Sun card is a very, very positive card. It's one of the most positive cards of the deck, and yet, and even in the reverse position, it's talking about partial success, but it's not talking about failure or the opposite of success. So, it's just one of those things. When you have a very, very positive card, you don't have to, think as badly about the reverse position. For some of you that this is a love reading, this could also be saying that the other person may not be able to participate in a relationship. If you've been seeing somebody, or maybe you've been talking to them and you both have mutual attraction, but you just haven't taken it to the next level, you might have to be patient. There may be other extenuating circumstances that prevent you from being together at this time. The advice is the Ace of Cups. So this is a card of accepting love. When it's presented to you, you may be presented with love. But again, this could also be any kind of offer that's a heartfelt offer, including, with career, and it can be a situation too, like I say, you have two aces, and one of them is the Ace of Pentacles. So that could be a job offer, the Ace of Pentacles specifically. But I feel like, maybe for some people there's even a dilemma where, and this could be where this Sun card comes in, because it's like you have this positive energy surrounding you, but it's almost like an embarrassment of riches. And with the Ace of Pentacles, you may get a lucrative offer, and the Ace of Cups, it could be something that's near and dear to your heart. So that may be what is causing a bit of confusion in your life. At the heart, though, or the higher perspective, is the Magician card. So, you do have to kind of believe that you have control over your life. If you don't believe that, and you think that if you choose the wrong thing, that everything is going to go to hell in a handbasket, then I think that you will probably end up not, I won't say make the right choice, because I don't believe you can make the wrong choice, but you won't make a choice that is really possibly going to be the best for ensuring happiness. It may be done for other reasons. And, you know, Aries, you are very independent, but you're also very passionate about life. And so you need something that can really stir your emotions and not be just a mundane job that pays really well. That's not going to be enough for you. And luckily, I think that Aries is one of the easiest manifestors because you're just naturally bold, you take action, and you are very positive in your thoughts. So, and proactive, which is a great combination. The outcome is the Six of Cups. For relationships, this could be soulmate material. You know, it's like you go for the person that stirs your soul. This up here could be that something comes in with an affair, because, you know, the pentacles not only relate to money but also the body. So it could be like a physical relationship, you know, a new physical relationship. But the Ace of Cups is a love relationship. So there's a big difference in how or what it means. You know, one means something that is more of an affair, and one thing mean or just based on that physical attraction. The other one is more of a soul level situation. I've said that I keep drawing this card, not in every reading, but in a lot of readings, and I keep wondering why. What is the universe trying to tell us, you know, in a universal way that's connected to the Six of Cups? That could also be relevant for your personal, well, general reading for Aries for this period of time. And I think that this card can also relate to soulmates. So, you know, with all the talk of twin flames and that sort of thing, I do believe that as we are experiencing perhaps a quickening in the vibration of our universe, that we're starting to just naturally go for the higher vibe. So relationships based on love, not just on the practical side of life. And so the Six of Cups, it also is a nostalgic card. It's asking you to reflect on your life and, you know, what kind of symbolism does childhood hold? And most of us say innocence, simplicity. So with the simplicity movement that is around nowadays, it's really about, you know, like if you've heard of the tiny home movement and just, what do they call that? Minimalist living and things like that. It's all about paring down your life to the essentials so that you have more space for experiences rather than trying to maintain your things. So not having a large mortgage, not having a lot of clutter that, you know, suffocates you, that doesn't allow you to breathe, and that doesn't speak to, you know, what you're about. So Aries, you know, you're very independent, and I feel like the Six of Cups is also speaking of this sense of affinity with another person on a very deep level, on a soul level, and finding that person. So maybe that's something that is possible for some Aries individuals who thought it would never happen. I mean, that's always a possibility. So in any case, I hope you enjoyed this general reading, Aries. I do have, you know, different types of readings based upon using your natal chart as a focal point, and that's you know, with your exact time of birth. So that's much more tailored to you specifically. And if you click on the link below this video, it does take you to my website. But otherwise, have a great rest of November. Bye.